if you remember how we did clipping mask, but basically we need to make a rectangle that is exactly 4.5 inches by 6 inches. Once we do that, we can move it and right into place. I'm just making this an outline. It can be an outline. A clipping mask can be a shape or a fill or an outline or both. I'm moving it directly where the center of that artboard is. That's why we used our guides, just to help us along, so everything is in place and everything is exactly the same on each artboard. Notice that I'm rotating this design and kind of testing out to see how it looks. I kind of like it rotated like that. Remember that diagonals are a lot more engaging, and I've selected them both that frame clipping mask and my design, and I've right clicked and chose make clipping mask. I'm also doing another rectangle that'll just be an outline, a black outline, and that'll be my frame for my piece, just so we can actually see where the edges of that design are. I'm probably gonna zoom out. What I like to do is zoom out and turn off guides. Turning off guides is Command semicolon, and you can just hit that back and forth and it can appear and reappear. And the next thing I'm going to tackle is my label, both the title. I said to put the title only, but I want you to put the title, date, and your last name in that order, and I'll show you how to do that. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have Helvetica picked. We've centered our design, so going through the steps here. Helvetica 10 point for each design. Be creative with your title. And once we're done doing that, we're going to do the date or the year and then your last name. So there is a typeface. We need to search for Helvetica. You can actually type in HEL and find Helvetica. If you don't have Helvetica, I doubt you should have it if you have Adobe. But if you can't, Arial is the poor man's Helvetica, and pick that. And so I'm just testing out different titles. I like alliteration, so it's usually like a couple of B words. If I want to stick with the word blue, we'll see where I go with this. So I picked Barking Blue Mech. I kind of think I would have liked Barking Blue Mechanism, but I want to pull down another guide so that my type is evenly spaced from the actual frame. And so I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch distance. And if you click on your type, do you notice the frame that frames our actual type? I'm going to use the top corner, the left corner of that frame, to line up with our guides. And of course, the more you zoom in, the more accurate you can be with this. I encourage you to zoom in anyway, to tackle details, but always zoom in whenever you're matching this up. And so there's my type for the title. I'm going to copy this over. I like the distance of that from the frame and from the composition. I'm going to copy this and just do a Alt drag and copy it over from my last name and type that in. Notice that I'm gonna line this up and make sure that it's lined up okay. Remember, nudging helps out a great deal at times. Nudging is, oh, I just did left justification there. Left justified instead of right justified, which is a default. That's up in the top in the options bar if you want to do that. And the center one, I'm going to do something special, is going to be center justified. I'm going to copy that over. It's going to be center justified right there, but it's also going to be centered with our composition. So I'm going to pull out, there's 2020. I'm going to pull out another guide, but not before I pick the composition. And that little center node there actually tells you where the center is, so you can drag your guide right to there. You can hold shift if you want to. You can divide 4.5 by 2 and get 2 1/4 to get it that way if you want to drag out that guide. But now 2020 is now lined up with the center, and that's what each of your designs should look like. So let's go and do another example.